The political pressure campaign against special counsel Jack Smith is no longer just coming from Capitol Hill. It's now landed squarely inside the Justice Department, where the next move belongs to acting Attorney General Todd Blanche. This week, House Judiciary Chairman Jim Jordan referred Smith for possible criminal prosecution, accusing him of misleading Congress about lawmakers' text messages obtained during the Trump investigation. But Smith's attorneys say the referral is, quote, meritless and based on a spurious claim that twists his testimony and is nothing more than a politically motivated effort at retribution rather than evidence of a crime. That leaves Blanche with a consequential decision: whether Trump's Justice Department opens an investigation into the prosecutor who once charged Trump. The referral carries no legal force. The Justice Department is under no obligation to act. But after President Trump publicly endorsed going after Smith, posting "Justice at Last," the spotlight is now on Blanche and whether he sees evidence of a crime or simply a political demand. Joining us now is Democratic Congresswoman Becca Balint of Vermont, member of the House Judiciary Committee. Congresswoman, thank you for joining us this morning. So I raised this yesterday, but I think it's worth raising again with you. I've covered congressional investigations for quite some time now. Jack Smith has been a target of the right since he was the special counsel. Republicans have held the majority even before Donald Trump took back office, and James Comer and Jim Jordan did not touch Jack Smith under Joe Biden. Yes, that could have been because they knew at the end of the day any referral wouldn't ever go anywhere with Merrick Garland as the Attorney General. But the consensus was that they did not want to relitigate and air what happened on January 6th and this classified documents case before Congress because it would just make Republicans look bad. Why is this referral coming now?
This referral is coming now because the chairman, Jim Jordan, and his colleagues on the Republican side of the aisle in judiciary are angry because they didn't ask the right questions. You've got them accusing a career prosecutor who has served with distinction, who is candid, who is by the book, who is the consummate professional. They're frustrated that when they ask questions in hours and hours of closed door depositions and then in front of the committee, they didn't ask the right questions. He answered the questions that they asked. They look stupid. And so they are trying to do the president's bidding once again. This is all about retribution. It's about rewriting history. And I asked Jack Smith when he came before the committee, do you believe this president and the DOJ will find a way to indict you? And he said, I have no question that they will do everything that they can to rewrite history. That's what's going on here. This is about retribution. This is not about the facts.
Congresswoman, one of the things I think that is so interesting is that often President Trump and his team kind of let you into their psyche often. Months and months ago, my team kind of jokes with me about it because I think about it so often and talk about it so often. Ed Martin told folks that at the end of the day, if they couldn't actually put people in jail, if they couldn't get them indicted, it was a name and shame game, right? That at the end of the day, absolutely, none of that matters. And I feel like this is just another indication that that is true. I do want to read from Jack Smith's lawyers, who say specifically the referral argues that by not proactively disclosing that the special counsel's office collected from the National Archives records from White House phones that included text messages, Mr. Smith violated the federal false statements statute. You know, that is something that has been kind of debunked. The idea that that is, you know, lying by omission is therefore something that can be prosecuted. But at the end of the day, you talk to Republicans and Democrats. How do you think this plays into their decision on the Senate side to confirm Blanche, or at all?
So look, Todd Blanche is Trump's latest Roy Cohn. He will do his bidding. He will do whatever it is that the president asks him to do. And he is not fit to serve as our top cop. When he was before the Senate Judiciary Committee and they asked him essentially what his job was, his very first answer before he had a chance to rethink how he was going to answer it. He said, I am the president's attorney. That was there for everyone to see. That is his mind frame. And it's shocking to me that even on the Judiciary Committee in the House, that we can't agree on some basic facts. So I want to just take us back to, what is this all about? This is about January 6th. This is about continuing to rewrite what happened. And when you see my Republican colleagues continuing to cover up for criminals that stormed the Capitol, when they pretend that, in fact, there wasn't a conspiracy with fake electors, and that they themselves had an opportunity after January 6th to rid themselves of this man, this deeply flawed president that we have, and they chose not to. They chose to backpedal. And they are all trying to cover up for their wrongdoings as well. And Todd Blanche should not be confirmed for so many reasons.
Congresswoman Becca Bowden, thank you so much for getting up with us this morning.
Appreciate you.
Coming up, we'll